Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian.
What was it next week or the week after where Rampage is on at 7?
That is next Friday, the
And then-
18th.
And they're doing that because why?
The NBA basketball.
Basketball.
It's they're doing their all-star festivities or whatever, and it starts at 8:00 that
I
night.
see.
So they either could go on at 8 or I think like 12:30 in the morning or 7:00. I mean,
Or
So
they could have
had-
changed
They were
networks.
given
for the
those
night.
time slots. It's on both networks, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Or when it's on, they could have gone to TBS. That's true. I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't want to bump Rampage to TBS, so they're doing it at 7:00 instead of like 12:30 in the morning. They were given the two slots. They picked 7. So I bet they jacked that card up.
Yeah.
I bet that it's going to be a nice one.
But just in case if it does poor ratings, because there's an all-star game that
Yep.
weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
And it's
President-
a week out from the Super Bowl, so
And
people will
it's-
be having
Yep, and President's Day.
Oh yeah, President's Day weekend. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep,
I forgot. I forgot.
Just like this week, it's the day after the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
It's Valentine's Day.
And it's on
the
Sci-Fi again.
Olympics.
And it's on Sci-Fi again. Yeah.
So many excuses. So
And
many
February is the
excuses.
month where people just don't watch TV either.
Oh yeah, no, they're out and about. The weather's so nice.
So nice out. Everyone's hanging out.
So many excuses. So many excuses. It's unbelievable. It's never just, yeah, you know what? The product sucks. I don't blame people for not watching. No, it's Valentine's Day and it's raining out. And
Well, it's not like they moved the show off of cable completely and put it like only on like their Twitter account or something for 3 hours. They might get more views that way. Who knows?
well, and that's the thing. Like AEW does that, and it's great because let's say, maybe you don't feel like watching it, or you got something else going on, you're out or whatever. Like for me in the summer, if like I got a game and I'm not able to watch it, but I can go on Twitter now and I can take a look and be like, okay, this might be worth watching a replay of.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you got WWE social media and it's all like stupidity and just dumb stuff that make no sense. I pronounce stupidity really weirdly. And I don't even think weirdly is a word.
That was a bit strange.
Yeah, everything was bad there. Oh, that guy just fell and he hurt himself. He hurt his hip.
Skiing again?
No, downhill 4-man race on a snowboard.
Oh.
And within the first 10 seconds, this guy was down.
Oh,
Oh. See, I watched this for the right in his face. That's half the fun of these things.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why anyone should watch NASCAR is for the accidents.
Oh no.
The Petties might disagree.
Yeah, well, they're petty.
Right, wasn't it? Richard Petty that died? No, that was Dale Earnhardt, right?
Yep. Good
They
news out of
both are dead,
Florida.
aren't they?
Tom Petty is.
Tom Petty's dead too.
Heroin.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go with that
I
one.
know.
Heroin.
Yeah, I don't know where to go.
Seriously, where do you go from that? For Tom Petty was the morgue.
Well, it looks like AEW is going to sell out at Agganis again.
Is it?
Are the
Yep.
tickets already on sale?
They went on sale today.
Oh wow.
Yep. scattered seats left. The one section next to the stage is almost wide open, but everything else is just a few. With my new work schedule, I can't go.
I didn't realize they were on sale today.
Yeah, I didn't either. I guess they went on sale today. I'd say maybe 150 tickets left.
Oh wow.
Jesus. Wow. So secondary market it is.
Yep. Yeah, with my new work schedule, I can't do much of anything for the first 3 months. No time off.
I probably wouldn't go either
If
way.
I took the day off, I wouldn't get paid, so I'd rather get paid right now.
Yeah, and same with me. I might have vacation time by then, but
And the thing that
Yeah,
sucks
I
is
probably
the
wouldn't
damn
go anywhere.
pay-per-views on Sunday. I'm gonna have to miss it.
it's on Sunday this
Yep.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I like this Saturday pay-per-view so much
I love
better.
it. Yeah, I wish it was.
Yeah.
It's Sunday this time though. I don't know. I can't recall why. There was some reason why it's a Sunday, but I don't know.
See, I just hate how their pay-per-views end at like midnight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like if
Well,
it
they
was
do
like,
it because they only do 4 pay-per-views, so they just want to give you a 4-hour show.
but if they could start at 7. You know what I mean? Start
Well,
at
that's when the
7, just
pre-show
7
starts.
pre-show at 6 then. I'm old, guys. Come on.
Come on, I'm older than you.
I can't even I go to bed at like 9 o'clock at night. I can't even sit through Oak Island anymore, all right? That's
Hey, I go to bed at 9 o'clock in the morning now, so shush.
Oh.
that stinks.
Go back to the Jeff Hardy thing, and why is it impossible that a guy who works people for a living worked the WWE into a release?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that impossible? He has a history
It's
of
what he
it.
did.
Yeah. And he's just so
Well, he was
convinced.
unprofessional walking through the crowd and leaving a match. You've never
Yeah.
seen it before?
Well, not only that, but he didn't want to believe. He's like, oh no, he must have been. It must have been a positive test. Why? Is the WWE incapable of being worked? They get worked all the time.
He knew if he wanted out, he had to do something like that. He just knew he had to do it.
I find it funny though, especially with the whole Jeff Hardy thing, and then afterwards they're like, oh, well, we don't want you going to AEW and reforming the Hardy Boys, so we're gonna put you in the Rumble and the Hall of Fame, and,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and and like Tom said last week, then why fire him? And it's
Right.
So then you look at Mustafa Ali's situation, and that thing came out where it was like, what was the word that they used? Value. He has like
Value.
Yeah, it's value.
and it's just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, but do you value Jeff Hardy, or is it just you don't want him to go to AEW?
That's,
You know what I mean?
That's
And
all
it's
it
just-
is, really.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And and I feel like that's why they aren't letting Mustafa Ali go. I feel like that's it has nothing to do with value. It's they know, especially after Keith Lee on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot more people that they just keep just to keep them off AEW's TV.
You think the mass releases are over with now?
I mean, I still think that they're
Or you
going
think
to
they'll just get rid of people that are just they know aren't going to go anywhere?
I mean, it could be
I can
that.
see that, yeah.
Yeah, but
But there could be somebody in that group that Tony Khan and the EVPs and so forth see
Mhm.
value in that
Sure.
Vince just doesn't. I mean, so here's the thing too. There's always been a couple of signs that AEW's made that you're just like, why would they sign this person? This doesn't make any sense.
Like Rick were talking about AKA signed today or yesterday.
Yeah,
So that was kind of like a
but
don't know much about her.
I mean, she's the one that worked Wednesday night, right?
Right, exactly.
I thought
Yes.
she looked great.
Mhm.
She looked really good. I thought, there's something there. Now, whether it's there right now
Sure.
or down the road, but I thought there was something there. She's trained by Booker T.
Yep.
She looks like Booker T. Yeah.
she Brian brought up before you got on. She was actually signed to NXT.
She was in NXT for a cup of coffee last summer.
she was one of those rounds of releases that just happened, and I think it was
She was
November
at
as
the
well.
end. Yeah. Yeah, she was like November or October, whenever that
Right.
one was. Yep. Mhm.
There are some people, guys and girls, that WWE releases, and you're just like, okay, well, they weren't going to do anything there anyway.
Mhm.
And AEW ends up picking them up, and whether they pan out or not, who knows? But it goes back to the point we made earlier. If they're allowed to be themselves,
Yep.
if they're allowed to be the worker that they can be, maybe in AEW they work.
Mhm.
Whereas in WWE, they were never going to get that shot.
No, you got to be in their mold, what they want,
Yeah.
not what you can do. Some people can't fit into it.
Right. I still understand the WWE fanboys that still compare AEW to WCW.
I don't
That
know.
doesn't make sense to me
No.
whatsoever.
They're not signing all these people to like $20 million contracts and blowing money left and right.
And it's not like there's Sting's out there. I get Punk and even
he signed them, but
Danielson.
they didn't sign for $10 million a year.
Right. But
That's
they're
what
not going out there.
WCW was doing.
Yeah. They're not bringing in WWE guys in their 50s.
Hogan, Nash,
Yeah.
Hall, those guys aren't coming in and getting all the TV time. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you're going to sign talented people? Who cares where they used to work?
Exactly.
It's not like they're picking up every person that got released just because they could.
Right.
That'd be overkill.
Some like I said, sometimes I look at some of their signings and it makes me wonder, Jay Lethal.
Yeah, that one I don't understand, but
I do. I get that one because think about when they signed him.
Mhm.
They signed him right on the heels of the racism allegations that all the top stars in AEW were white. Remember that whole thing that Leo Rush did?
No, he was signed before that.
Was he before?
Yeah,
But it was
he signed right after All Out.
There were already some rumblings though of that. That was already on
Full
Reddit.
Gear? Which one did he come in for?
Full Gear.
Was it Full Gear? Okay.
There were already rumblings of that before Leo Rush even said it publicly. There were already fans on Reddit saying,
I say Swole kind of started it.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
it's like after and then Tony Khan was like, well, she's not that good.
He also had a little bit of name recognition.
Sure.
He's a good worker. So I think it's one of those things like, all right, you throw him out there, you see if it sticks, and it didn't.
I mean, he's okay. It's just he's so bland.
That's the thing.
Problem with him.
Keith Lee, on the other hand,
there's no blandness in him.
He's going to be your African-American star.
Yep.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
And like you said earlier, he is out to prove something.
Oh yeah. You could just tell that.
Oh boy, is he going to.
He didn't even bring all that he can do. He just showed just a little glimpse of it.
If he stays hungry.
Oh yeah.
And he stays at a point where he wants to shove it in Vince's face that because I mean, here's Vince sending him back to NXT after he got on the main roster, and
because he doesn't know how to work a match.
Yep, tell him he didn't know how to work a match and all that. If he lets that fuel that fire,
oh yeah,
man, it's gonna be a fun year with him.
So now the thing is you bring him in white hot. That was a good way to debut him.
Oh yeah. Perfect guy to work with.
You just ran through Isaiah Cassidy.
Yep.
Now my thing is now he's qualified for this. It's a ladder match, right?
Correct. Yep.
So it's every time they have one of these ladder matches, it always seems like the debuting guy always wins it. So
who's the Joker in that match then? Someone else debuting.
Well, that's what I mean. So now how do you book that match? Have the Joker, and then still have it where it's, I'm trying for instance, when Ruby Riott debuted, or Ruby Soho debuted in AEW.
Yep.
It's like she wins the Battle Royal, whatever. And then, so now she's same thing. She's at, white hot. She was over. Now she has to lose to Britt Baker because Britt Baker's on a different level.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like,
Which is fine.
do you do the same thing with Keith Lee and have him beat Sammy, or you know what I mean?
would.
Like, I mean, I would too, but I feel like it's, you know what I mean? Like, we're still kind of early in Sammy's run. It was kind of the same situation they had with Danielson
Sure.
and Adam Page.
Mhm.
You know, it's you know, you
But
want to
that's
you
more
want to
realistic though, that Keith Lee would beat Sammy, I think.
right.
Not.
So it's just kind of, but that's, you know, at this point, I mean,
But who do they have beat the Joker?
right.
The Joker could take out Keith Lee and they could go off in that direction and not have either of them win the match.
Imagine Keith Lee versus Samoa Joe.
I wouldn't mind watching that.
That would be fun. Two big guys going at it.
As Big E once said, two meaty men slapping meat.
I mean, it's got to be a big name because the Joker's always someone with a name. It's not
Right.
like, you know, I guess Matt Seidel did it that one year. That was kind of like, eh.
And then he almost killed himself.
But majority of the time, it's a big name that comes in.
And
Yeah,
that's
when Matt
yes.
Seidel tripped on the top rope and almost died. Yeah.
And when is that pay-per-view? It's March or end of February?
March 6th, I believe.
6th.
The first
Okay.
weekend. Yeah.
Can't wait for Big E to be in AEW.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't think so either, but it should.
No. He's one guy. I feel bad.
I'm sure
for him.
he's not happy about it, but will he leave though, or asked to leave? I don't think so.
No.
At least not right away.
not
Rick,
'cause-
I'm with you. I feel bad for him too.
He should. He went from a top singles guy to you're just a tag team now again, and that's
It's-
it.
The thing is all you had to do was have him beat. I don't even mind how he cashed in,
Hmm.
but then like every match after that, like his rematches with Lashley were like skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
You know, barely made it out alive. It's like why couldn't you have him be like Lashley too?
Hmm.
Or you had him in tag matches where he was the one that took the pinfall.
Right.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
Like they did
Mhm.
nothing. They did nothing.
No, they never
for
helped him.
his. No, not
Not
even
to compare him to Hogan or anything like that, but you think of guys like Hogan. Anytime there was like a Saturday Night's Main Event where his team lost, he never took the pinfall.
No. Nope.
A lot of those guys never did, but yet Big E, literally every single time there was a tag match, pinfall.
Hmm.
And even when he lost the belt, you had 4 other guys in that match,
And he took the pin.
and he
Yep.
took the pin.
Yeah.
Easily could have had it a different way.
Usually in those matches, the champion isn't the one that gets pinned
Right.
because you're like, all right, well, that sucks that he lost, but he technically didn't
Exactly.
lose. In this one, it's like, yeah, no, fuck it. He's pinned.
Hmm. Just stupid.
Right? Yeah. It was always the same. It was either the champion somehow retains, or he's not involved in the finish whatsoever.
Right. And then he can cry about it.
And then that pay-per-view went off the air with Big E sitting on the floor, back against the ring,
Mhm.
looking just completely just devastated.
Should be. He probably realized then and there his push is dead.
You know, I'm going to throw this out there. Could his world title push have gotten destroyed because in his promo, he mentioned Brody Lee and was very vocal about Brody Lee after winning the title, even beyond that promo?
I would
No,
hope not.
I don't think so, because he's like he does stuff like that all the time. Like when because I know he's real good friends with like Tyler Breeze, and like I remember when Tyler Breeze got released, and then they had a promo on SmackDown, and like everything was like, oh, this match was a breeze, and everything ended with a breeze, and it's just, you know, I mean, and not for nothing, even before he won the title, they all had, you know, the New Day all came out, they had that Brody gear,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
you know what I mean? So it's like,
True.
you know, and even now, like if they've been, you know, with the whole Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they're you know, the whole Shield thing.
Hmm.
Seth Rollins keeps name dropping Moxley and calling him Mox and not Ambrose.
Right, not
You know what I mean?
Right. That's
They've
true.
been,
Yeah.
they've been calling him Mox.
Right.
So that's kind of, you know, I mean, I don't know. it's like it's kind of cool to see WWE do stuff like that, but it's one of those, one step forward, two steps back. Like they're just not.
We go together because I'm dressed like a cat. Sorry.
Okay, Andrew.
But you know what I mean? Like it's like they do the stuff at the Rumble. They did.
That was a song.
That's a song. That's a song, Russ. But they do. They do the the stuff with like Mickey James and it's just. But then they do something that just like negates the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like just. Just destroys everything. That's like, oh, you know what? WWE's kind of maybe they're turning the corner, and then it's like they do something just ridiculous. It's like, no, not even a little bit.
Awful.
I'm also convinced too that, and I think I've said this months ago, that they're just not. We're not their demo anymore.
Nope. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
They're not appealing to us.
Well, you said that their majority demos like 60-year-old man, right?
Yeah.
It's,
For Raw and NXT, it's like 64 to 67 years old every week is their median age.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. SmackDown's is like 50.
So weird.
Yeah. And AEW's, I think, is like 38 or 37 or something like that.
But then again, the older fan is more used to WWE and
It's just a name now, and they're just that's their promotion. That's it. It's a hill they die on.
Yep, it's old hat. It's what
Why
they're
change
used to.
anything? Just turn on Raw and fall asleep.
Doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's just what they know.
Exactly. Jason watches it every week. You ask him why? Because I've done it for 30 years. That's his reason. That's it.
That's the only reason I still put it on. It's just habit. It's like you said.
That's how it is.
I'm lucky if I can make it till 9:30 when I watch.
I'd be lucky to make it to 8:05.
Yeah. Like I said, Monday, I forgot it was even Monday.
And I guess the first hour was no commercials too this past week.
There was a time. There was a legit time
that's what
where
they said. There were no commercial breaks.
Not only would I know it was Monday, I would be looking forward to Monday because of Raw.
Oh yeah. All the time I used to do that. Yep.
And now it's like, all right.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, is it Monday yet?
I mean, even like what we talked about in the past and with the Royal Rumble, I used to get so excited for
Count
the Royal
down
Rumble.
the hours to it. Yep.
Same thing with WrestleMania. I used to get so excited for WrestleMania, and I mean, maybe it's a little different because of COVID, but it was like the Thunderdome WrestleMania was terrible or whatever it was, the Performance Center WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Although the Taker AJ match was really good.
Right.
That was fun.
But that was also a pretty much a movie because right.
That match proved that they could do something that is purely like
entertainment.
Yes, and not an actual live wrestling.
It was like a movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a match. It was.
But did you see like the making of that?
Yeah.
I think they had like a network special on that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was just Taker was just so beat up and
wasn't it like 14 hours or something? The match took place or something. It was like crazy amount of time.
It took like all day long. Yep.
Didn't his brother die on his way to the spot where they were filming? Didn't he get the call?
Something.
I think
like
he
that,
did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about that, right, wasn't it? That's when Gallows and Anderson got fired, pretty much.
The next week.
The next.
They did.
They kind of fell off, huh?
Yeah.
They're an Impact. No one watches.
Right, but that's what I mean. They went from being like the New Japan, tag team champions in what, like 15, 16, I forget when they
somewhere in that range, yeah.
And then they were in this like spot where they were the first people in God knows how long that just showed up on the main roster to do the NXT thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was just they just showed up on Raw. Like that never
That's because
happens.
Gallows was in the promotion before, so Vince said that they didn't have to go back.
So Anderson just kind of lucked out.
Yeah, he lucked out because they're keeping him as a tag team. Yep.
But it's just kind of funny how that works.
Oh yeah.
It's just
AJ did the same thing.
right, AJ. But then
But
the
that was
fourth,
about it.
right. But the fourth guy in that whole situation was Nakamura. They all four of those guys left
Yeah.
New Japan at the same
Right.
time.
Mhm.
You stick
Mhm.
three of them on the main roster, and then you put Nakamura in NXT. I mean, granted, that's great because Nakamura's NXT run was amazing.
But he wanted to because he wanted to start surfing down there and not have to travel right away.
That's funny.
Mhm.
I didn't know that's the only
Yeah.
reason.
Well, that, and he said he wanted to learn English better and all that stuff.
Right.
So he said NXT would be better for him because I guess they did offer him a spot on the main roster right away. And he said, no, I'd rather start NXT and work my way up there.
Hmm.
Get more comfortable, new country and all that stuff. and
Right.
everything. Probably mostly for his family because they didn't speak English at all.
It makes me wonder though, like if he never left New Japan, where would he be in New Japan's like?
He'd probably still be up at the top.
You'd be
You
in
think?
AEW by now.
You think so? Like I don't know because I feel like him and
Tanahashi's there and he was just on the same level as him.
right, but
I mean, he might
feel-
be a step or two lower, but he probably would have had another run.
I mean,
He'd be
like
in main events.
right. I feel like Tanahashi's like one step above like the dads. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
he's higher
it's-
up there. You
think so?
They have the main event guys, and then he's just a sliver below him. Because he still gets a ton of big wins that the
Yeah, he
dads
does.
aren't even close to that.
That's it.
They're not even close to that.
Yeah, they just.
Unless you're like 25, the dads aren't allowed to be.
Right.
Mhm.
Right, unless you're a young boy.
Yeah, I mean, you got like whoever their champions are. Tanahashi's kind of floats between main event to just below.
Right,
Depends on the time of the day.
right.
You just have to keep him fresh. Nakamura would be there because he can still go.
He'd be in like that Ishii.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
yeah, like, that's kind of
I could see him
spot.
be
Even a little
make it
higher.
to the finals of the G1 or just lose out. Always in
Right.
the top little area. Get the title shot when some new champion gets it.